Okay, so welcome back to another session of the Relaxing Fertility Yoga sponsored by the Fertility Partnership. My name is Julie, and just a few things to say at the beginning because this might be your first time joining us, but even if it's not, there's always important reminders here. And the number one thing always is that I really want to invite you to be kind to yourself, to be compassionate with yourself, both as far as your body and these other parts of yourself, your mind, your heart, your energy. There's no need to judge anything. There's no need to tell yourself that you're bad in some way or that you should be doing something. Shoulds are usually a big red flag word. So if you find yourself going, I should, or I should have, or I shouldn't, usually shoulds are a type of rejection of the present. And that resistance is usually where our suffering comes from. So it's just something to be aware of. It's always a practice. Everything we do is a practice. And other things to say, please listen to your body. So if you're new to yoga, if you have an injury, these are gentle classes anyway, but still listen to your body and don't ever feel you have to do something. And both men and women are welcome. I usually reference women's bodies in these classes because the IVF process is a bit more demanding on a female body. But again, guys are welcome, partners are welcome. It's not exclusive. I am at my partner's parents' house in Italy right now, which I taught here a little bit during the pandemic, but I drove here then, whereas this time I've just flown here after I was working in Portugal, coming for the Easter holidays, which means my props are rather limited and my mat is pretty ridiculous. And I'm just going to show you my mat right now. This is what I managed to find in this is not an attic, but in the upstairs area. So it's pretty entertaining. So we've got some pretty cool characters there, dudes in Speedos and kind of women that look like they're dressed for aerobics in 1985. So please don't judge me, it's not mine. Anyway, hopefully it makes you laugh too. It made me laugh when I was like, this is what I could find. We're going to start with a centering and breathing exercise, and then we're going to move into some warm-up movements and then flow through some postures from there. Another thing just to say about that is that every class that we do is different. Some weeks I'll really be focusing on things that are known to be fertility related, and other weeks I'll focus more just on things that are good for relaxing, sometimes for strengthening. So if you come to these classes regularly and you ever want me to base a class on something, please just send me a message. I'm really happy to do that. So sometimes I'll do certain types of classes if someone has an embryo transfer coming up, this kind of stuff. So always feel free to let me know in advance. Okay, let's start. So to begin, you can either sit or lie down. So if you're joining live, because it's the evening on a Thursday, you might want to lie down if you've been sitting at a desk most of the day. And you're welcome to lie down on your back, and you can either bend your knees and just relax down here. And this is easier to have your knees bent if you have lower back pain or sensitivities. Otherwise, you can just kind of flop out, letting everything flop and splay. If you prefer, you can also sit, and you can sit up either just onto the floor or onto a prop, onto a block or a bolster. Okay, let's go. So, finding your centering position, lying down or seated, start with a few shoulder rolls. Inhale, roll them up, again, whether you're lying down or seated, and exhale them down and back. And again. more. And just relax the shoulders down, relax the hands either facing up or down. Close your eyes. And take a few deep inhales through the nose with exhales, sighing or blowing the air out of the mouth. And just do that as many times as you need. Inhaling calm, exhaling, sighing out, letting go of any stress or any tension. And once you've sighed out a few times, just come back to the natural rhythm of your breath. Start to notice your breath. Notice where it lands in the body. And just notice what the breath can tell you in this moment. Is it shallow? Is it deep? And again, there's no need to judge, it's just a checking in. And from here, take the awareness and bring it to your face. And just start to relax the brow. Relax down along the corners of the eyes and the corners of the mouth. Loosen the jaw. And just let that same awareness cascade down your body, so that you're relaxing through the shoulders, down the neck, down the chest. Take the awareness out into your hands and your fingers. Keep bringing it down your body. And just notice if there are places that you might be storing tension. Sometimes we can even hold the toes tightly. We might be holding certain muscles. If you're lying on your back, sometimes there's a tendency to hold the glutes. So just be aware of any place where you might just be holding a little bit of tension. And see if you can just start to let it go simply by becoming aware of it. Then take the awareness to your breath and start to deepen your breath. Inhale through the nose and take the breath down into the belly so that the belly rises with the inhale. Exhale out the nose and feel the belly roll back towards the spine. Take a few deep breaths there. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. And then deepen the breath further. Inhale through the nose, fill up, belly, ribs, chest, expanding all the way up through the inhale. Exhale out the nose, chest, ribs, and belly contract. So if you're new to this 3-part breath is known as a dirgha breath. So you can stay with that type of pranayama or breathing exercise. Otherwise, feel free to come into your ujjayi or your ocean wave sounding breath. If you're not too sure about that, don't worry about it tonight. I think last week's video, which is on YouTube, was one where we did a lot more with the breathing exercises. So if you want to know more about yogic breathing, just check out last week's video. And we'll take about 3 to 5 rounds of just slow, deep, calm breath here. Keep the face soft. Take one more breath here. And then start to mentally ready yourself for movement. Just in your own time and in your own way, draw a little bit of movement back into your body. Whether you're sitting or lying down, just let yourself stretch, yawn, sigh. Just do whatever feels good to you. And I can't remember what video I recorded 2 weeks ago, but hopefully this is going to be new for the last few weeks. I can't remember. It's been a busy few weeks. So what I would like you to do now is we are going to come onto hands and knees on the mat. Okay, so just take your time getting there. So you're going to... Again, come into a tabletop, so knees in line with the hips, wrists in line with the shoulders. Okay, and then we're going to inhale, arch the spine. So we roll the shoulders back, open up through the chest. And then exhale, tuck the chin in towards your chest and round up. We're going to do that again, but actually before we do, I just wanted to say, so if you don't have a yoga mat, it's totally fine. You don't need a mat to do yoga. And even if you do have a mat, depending on the type of floor you're using, it can be very hard on the knees. So please feel free to, just because of the bone of the knee, it's not about being stronger or fitter, it's just about bone and hard floor. So if the floor is very hard and your knees are uncomfortable, please fold up a blanket or something like, or a towel underneath your knees so that the bones feel okay. So know that you can always use any props like blankets, like cushions. You don't have to have exclusive yoga props. Again, we work with what we've got. Okay, so we're going to again inhale, arch, roll the shoulders back, open up through the chest. Exhale, tuck the chin into the chest and round up. And again. And one more, inhale, arch. Exhale, round. And then come to a neutral tabletop. Now, in these classes, we avoid deep twists, particularly if you are in certain stages of the IVF process. Don't worry if you twist. Twisting is a really normal part of everyday life. But again, we're just being sensitive to certain things in here. So we're going to take a type of twist that doesn't compress in the way we want to avoid. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the right forearm down so that the right hand is coming, the right wrist is coming behind the left. So you're just making a perpendicular line between the arms. And this is all we're going to do. Okay, so then we just turn and look up past the left shoulder. And what's nice here is, again, we avoid the compression that we want to avoid while we still get a twist in the spine, get a little opening in the shoulders. And then come back up to center. All we're going to do, same thing to the other side. So left forearm coming down, turning and looking past the right shoulder. Hopefully that feels nice on the shoulders, on the upper back. And then lift that left hand back up. Now from here, we're going to come down onto the forearms, but I want you to leave your bum in the air. So think about a dog getting ready to play. So a dog in a play bow, their bum is up, their tail is up, and then we're going to take the arms and bring them out in front of us and bring the forehead down. So this is your puppy pose, which is just a really lovely opener for the shoulders, for the upper back. Then start to walk yourself back up to your tabletop. Then we're going to have a little play here. So I want you to take your bottom back towards your right heel, roll it around to the left, and then we roll forward towards the shoulder and around to the other side. So you're just making these circles here, having a little play. And just feel this in your body, what feels good to you. You can change the direction. Okay, one more. And then roll it back through center. Okay, and then from here, once you have come back to center, I'm going to turn myself around for this. We're going to take the right leg and we're going to send it back behind us. Just make sure that when you take that leg back, obviously you want to make sure you have enough space so we're not running into furniture or animals or people. So we're taking that right leg and we're bringing it back. And then we're going to start to bend that knee out to the side. So really channeling some canine friends here tonight. And we're going to draw that knee up and swing it around to the shoulder, to the elbow, and then back. We're just going to do 2 more of those. So just a little bit of strength as we open the hips. We don't want to do too much. All right, and then when next you take it back, I want you to square your hips forward. If you have a sensitive right wrist, make a fist with your right hand. So you make this gorilla hand rather than the flat hand, okay? And then from there, take your left arm and extend it out in front of you. I'm running into the pool table. Okay, ignore the pool table at the moment. So try to just have your hand in your left arm and right leg back. So this is really good for your lower back here. This is both a stretch and a strengthener. So we're going to take an inhale here and then exhale, bend the elbow, bend the knee, draw them together under the body. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. 3 more. And I want you to go really fully through that extension. Again, ignore the pool table. You're going fully through the extension because that's the part that's really good for your lower back. 2 more. Okay, last one. Take it out and hold. And then, if it's available to you, you're going to bend that right leg behind you and catch hold of it with your left hand. So right then, so I do have a sensitive right wrist. So right then though, I wanted to come back onto the flat of my hand. So feel free to make that adjustment if you're up on the fist because it's easier on the balance. So we take hold of that right foot. Now it's really easy to catch hold and then do nothing. And of course, this is yoga and it's not just nothing. In fact, I think yoga is often underestimated as far as the strengthening that can go into the body through the practice. So from there, we're going to really lift that right leg up and back. So we're opening the chest, opening the shoulder, opening up through the quadricep. Take a couple more breaths here. Okay, exhale. Let everything come down and then take a child's pose. So you're going to bring your bottom towards your heels, your belly over between your thighs, forehead down, and just let yourself sigh out. Take another breath here. And slowly roll yourself all the way back up to tabletop. And I'm only turning myself around just for the screen. You don't need to do the same. So then from here, we're going to, again, spread the fingers nice and wide. We always want the hands spread out when they're on the ground because that's where we get the most distribution of the weight across the hand versus if we're like this, I'm trying to figure out how I can show this with my black shirt, it's easier. So if you're like this on the floor, what that means is you have all this space under your hand and then that means that there's going to be more pressure in your wrist compared to if you are like this, you're really pushing across the hand and that makes it easier on the wrists, okay? That's true in kind of any weight bearing on your hand. So if you're somebody that likes to go to the gym or if you have or if you have a yoga practice that you already do, just that little reminder can be helpful just to protect the wrists. Okay, so now we're going to take the left leg back and again, just make sure you're not running into anything or anyone. And we're just going to take 3 of those hip openers. So the doggy having a wee, drawing the knee up to the shoulder, down to the elbow and back. And 2 more. Okay. And then take that leg straight back, square your shoulders forward, pull up through your core. Take your right hand out in front of you. And again, you can either be flat on the left hand or you can make a fist with it if that feels better to your wrist. It might not be the same from side to side. It's not for me personally. Sometimes, yeah, it just depends. All right, so from here, let's take an inhale. And then exhale, bend the elbow, bend the knee. Draw them together under the body like you're going, yes. And then inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Two more. Inhale, extend. Hold the extension. And then, if it's available to you, you're going to take your right hand and reach back, catch the left foot. I forgot to say this on the other side. If you can't get hold of the foot, it's fine. Take both hands down, and then you're going to lift that left leg high, like you want to lick your toes. Okay, I know it's a gross Gross way of saying it. Okay, so then we're going to lift up and back, really opening the chest, opening the shoulder, opening the quadricep. Okay, and then gently start to release. Take the bottom back towards your heels, take your forehead down. And just take a moment to sigh out. And sometimes it can feel really nice to rock or sway, to let your hips sway side to side, let your forehead roll here in a child's pose. All right, and then gently start to come all the way down onto your tummy. Okay, I'm just making sure that I'm still on the screen, yeah. Okay. So once you come down onto your tummy, just release your arms however they're comfortable. Let your legs flop and splay. Turn your face to one side. And just let yourself sigh out. Take another breath here. All right. And then I'm in two minds about which order to do this in. Okay, let's take the arms to the sides of the body. And you're going to take your chin or your forehead to the floor in front of you. And then you're going to bring your legs so that they are coming to a hip distance stance behind you with the tops of the feet flat on the earth. From here, you're going to interlace the fingers behind the back, drawing the palms together. Take an inhale, and then exhale. We're going to start to lift the arms, lift the legs, lift the chest. So draw the arms back, and then I want you to squeeze the legs towards each other. So we're coming into a boat pose or Navasana. So we're doing a lot of lower back work tonight. And then we're going to take the arms and bring them out to a T. Keep lifting the legs though. And then take the arms all the way out in front of you into superhero. Again, really working the lower back, and we're going to swim, swim, swim. We're going to kick the legs up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. You're like, what did I get myself into? All right, and then inhale, lift up superhero. And then exhale, start to release everything down. Oh, and just sigh out. Okay. Take your arms now and bring them to a T. Turn your face to the left, so your right cheek is on the floor. Then you're going to bend your left knee, and we're going to roll for a moment into the right side. So we would take that left leg over. So again, we get a little twist without any kind of deep compression, and then we roll back to center. Okay. Now, take your left hand, catch your left heel with the foot if you can. Also, if you can, take your right hand also to that foot. Now, you can either keep your cheek on the floor, or you can take your chin or your forehead to the floor in front of you. If you take the chin or the forehead to the floor in front, it's more aligned, but as long as your neck doesn't mind, it's okay to have the head turned out. And we're just taking that quadricep stretch here to start. Okay, and then we're going to hold the left foot with the left hand, but take the right arm, let me go back. Take the right arm and bring it out in front of you. So you've got the right arm and the right leg in a full length extension there. You're going to hold on to the left foot, and we're going to take a variation on half a bow. I think of this as like Cupid flying through the air. So we're going to take an inhale, and then exhale, lift everything up. Lift the arm, lift the leg. Again, working the lower back. One more breath here. And then exhale. Start to take everything down. And take your left arm out in front of you and both legs back behind you. Take your forehead onto the earth. And just let yourself sigh out. So the focus today is very much on the lower back. And we're going to do another exercise right now that's really good for the lower back. And okay, come up into a Sphinx for a moment while I talk. I'm going to just talk you through something, and then we'll do this thing that we were going to do. So walk up onto your forearms, bring your elbows so that they're in line with your shoulders. Tops of the feet are flat on the floor. You're going to roll the shoulders back and open up through the chest. So in yoga and in a lot of, I want to say like kind of physical healing modalities, there are beliefs about certain parts of the body storing different energy. So you can think about this like we often store stress in the shoulders or in the neck, and you probably accept that. You might know if you tend to, when you're stressed, maybe you get a tummy ache, maybe you get a headache, maybe you get panic attacks. I mean, I hope you don't, but you know kind of how stress manifests in your body. Well, if you think about it, things like ulcers used to be really common in the 70s. Like that was the way that stress manifested. And yet we don't really hear that much about ulcers anymore. And part of that, there's a belief that in fact, illnesses kind of also move with cultures and with times. And so one of the things that we see all the time at the moment is low back pain. And low back pain can often be associated with a systemic feeling of not being supported. If you think about it, this is the seat of your support in your body. Your lower back is so integral, and like that again, like that's the base of that's the foundation of your support. So if you're not feeling supported in a culture, in a society, if you're not feeling if you're not feeling supported in a family, in a relationship, in a workplace, sometimes that can manifest as low back pain. It's just something to think about. I actually have to say that I've seen that as truth in my own life. I used to get a lot of lower back pain, and then when I got out of a particular relationship, it stopped. So I actually saw it manifest in my own life. It's just something interesting to think about. Okay, that was a long time in Sphinx, sorry. Take it in now. And then exhale. Take your arms out in front of you. Take your forehead down and let yourself sigh out. And then from here, again, this is a great exercise for the lower back. It's an exercise that a lot of physios use as well. So we're going to inhale. Lift the right arm and the left leg. So opposite arm and opposite leg. And you'll feel that stretch coming across your lower back. Now, you can keep your forehead down, although some people start to feel a little claustrophobic. If you want, you can lift your head. It offers something slightly different, but either is okay. So let's take an inhale there. And then exhale, take it down. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Exhale, take it down. And we're just going to take this back and forth. So inhale, lift. Opposite arm and leg. Exhale down. And then to the other side. Oh, a few more. Okay, one more to each side. And then from here, we're going to, once you take that last one down, take your arms back out against it, or take your arms back out to a T against the floor. This time we're going to turn the face right. And then we start to bend the right knee, roll into the left hip, taking the right toes towards the left side. Sometimes you'll find the toes can touch down. Other times you're going to be up in the air a little bit more. This is just a way of twisting the lower back, again, without any kind of compression that we want to avoid in the internal organs. And then roll back through center. Once you come back to center, take your right hand back to catch the right foot. And also, if you can, take the left hand back to catch that foot. Okay. And then from here, take your right arm, or hold on to your foot with your right hand and take your left arm out in front of you. So again, we're coming into that Cupid variation here. So we're going to take an inhale and then exhale, start to lift everything up. Lift the arms, lift the legs, lift the chest. You don't have to crank the neck back. We're just, again, lifting. And take some deep, deep breaths here. And exhale. Start to take everything down. And we'll take one very, very nice resting pose. I'm not sure, we might have done this a few times recently. I can't remember for sure though. So it's a resting pose that's called crocodile, which doesn't sound particularly restful, but it is a nice pose. So what we're going to do is we're going to stack our hands out in front of us, letting the elbows come wide. What I like to do here is I like to take my third eye point, so that point between the eyebrows, and bring it down on the top knuckle, one of the top knuckles. So you can align it so you just get this little mini pressure point there. Okay? You can just let your legs relax. And just breathe deeply. Take another breath here. And start to lift your head up. Now, from here, we are going to take one slightly less relaxing pose. So we are going to take a bow, which there's a couple options here in bow and Dhanurasana. So option one is you hold your feet by bending your knees behind you. Now, some people can't get hold of the feet, in which case that's okay. If you can't get hold of the feet, cross your ankles behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back, and then in a moment, if you're doing it in this variation, you're going to lift the head, lift the heart, lift the chest, but without lifting the knees. Okay, so the upper body lifts if you're crossing the ankles. Now, if you're holding on to the feet, options are just holding on naturally where you would kind of grab, which is usually the top of the foot. Otherwise, you're going to flex your feet. That's an option if you have sensitive knees or injuries in the knees. Okay, so we take the chin or the forehead to the floor in front of us. We're going to take an inhale. And then exhale, lift everything up. So you're lifting up into your bow, up into Dhanurasana, opening up through the chest, opening up through the quads. Deep breaths. Couple more breaths here. You can do it. Okay, and then on your next exhale, gently release down. And then from here, just shift or let your legs come down and just give your hips a little shimmy shake side to side. All right, and then from here, start to take your hands to the sides of your chest, gently lift up and press back towards a child's pose. So you're just bringing your bottom back towards your heels, forehead down. Oh, and take a moment to sigh it out. Okay, start to roll yourself all the way up towards seated. And we're going to come into a move that's very good for your lower back. We've definitely have done this in here before. So if you've done this before, you'll have heard me say this, but I just want to also go over it for anyone who hasn't heard it before. So you have a muscle that is called your Iliopsoas, and it runs from the base of your spine, and it wraps in front of your hip, and it connects to your femur or your leg bone. Okay, now this muscle is often responsible for lower back pain. So when we're stressed and things like that, this muscle can tighten up a bit. One funny thing, so if you are somebody that you sleep like this, you really draw that leg up, and oh, this is how you like to sleep. One, I am totally with you. I know some of you are like, who the hell does that? But I'm totally with you if you do this. And this is your body's natural way of stretching out your iliopsoas when you're sleeping. It's your body's natural way of starting to release stress from your lower back. So if you do have a lot of low back pain, try sleeping like this. And maybe you're going to want to sleep with a pillow underneath this leg. That can also be very supportive. It's always just, there's things to try. Okay, so we're going to stretch the same muscle group, but not by sleeping, of course, obviously. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the knees wide, and you take them as wide as you can, but let your big toes stay together behind you. So big toes are in a little kiss behind you, knees are going wide. Okay, and then from there, we're going to walk ourselves forward. It is not a child's pose. So we walk ourselves forward, then we're going to push the bottom back towards the heels so that we start to feel a stretch on the inner thigh or on the groin area a little bit. You can come lower, so you can come down, but the thing I want you to avoid is kind of this lurch forward that can happen. You want to keep pushing your bottom back towards your heels. So again, that you're getting that stretch on your inner thigh. Maybe you're also feeling it in the lower back. And you can even come all the way down, but again, just be mindful of where you're feeling the stretch. And you're going to lift the head, lift the heart, walk your hands back, and then just gently draw your legs together. I have the microphone so that the background noise is suppressed at high, but if you can hear things going on here, it's Italian families. I mean, they're not fighting. It's just like they're all happy downstairs. Okay, and then unwind your legs. We're going to start to then come down onto the back. And when you come down onto your back, take a moment just to sigh out. Sometimes even that turn from being facing forward. I mean, we haven't even stood up in this session today, but even just that turning of position where we go from the belly to the back, it can cause tension to rise up. So just let it go. Take another breath here. And then let's draw both knees into the chest, hug the legs. Take a moment just to sigh out. And then interlace your fingers over your right shin, flex your right foot. Take your left leg up into the sky, flex that foot. And then we're going to take that left leg straight down and just say a quick hey to the left hip flexor. Then take your left leg back up into the sky, bend the knee, interlace the fingers over the left shin. Take your right leg straight up, flex the foot. And then take that right leg down. Take another breath here. And take your right leg all the way back up and bend both knees. And then from here, actually changing my mind, go ahead and take the soles of both feet onto the floor. Bring your legs together, so you're just touching the insides of your legs. And then let your knees tip out to the side, soles of the feet coming together. And just take a few deep breaths here. Now, if you find that a pose like this doesn't feel good to your lower back, which is not uncommon, You can play with this pose in many ways. So you can use props, but one of the easiest props you can use is to take your legs up a wall. It doesn't have to be right now, but it's a nice pose. Legs up the wall is a nice pose to play with in general, but legs up the wall, playing with this variation of a bound angle where we're opening the hips, this is also quite nice. And then with the legs up the wall, it limits the pressure on the lower back. Take a couple more breaths here. All right, and then draw your legs back together. And you have options here. So we're going to start to bring it down towards relaxation. So you can either have your knees bent, feet on the floor. That's easiest if you have lower back sensitivities. You can also extend your legs out, letting them flop and splay. Or if you do have a wall handy, you can also play with legs up the wall, which can be a little awkward to get into. One of the easiest ways, I think, of getting into legs up the wall is to actually sit with your legs against the wall, lie down, and then kick your legs up, okay? And just relax your shoulders, relax your hands. And then close your eyes, whichever variation you're in. Oh, and just take a few deep inhales through the nose, with exhales sighing or blowing the air out of the mouth. And then once you've sighed out a few times, just allow the natural rhythm of your breath to take over again. And feel the eyelids become heavy over the eyes. And just feel your body start to melt down against the ground. And again, just let anything and everything soften as you can. And as you relax here, especially after we've done this session where we've thought about the lower back, we've thought about the seat of our support, draw into your awareness a sense of gratitude. And take a moment to appreciate some of the places where you feel supported. Appreciate some of the people who you feel support you. And again, the places that you feel supported. It's not just people. Maybe you love to garden. Maybe you love to run. Maybe you're like me and you're a big dog lover, a big animal lover, and you feel a lot of support from your animals. It really can be so many places that we get our support, and it's not that any of them are wrong. It's not wrong to get support from a dog or to get support from a tree or to get even support from a colleague. Take a moment to just really appreciate where your support system or the pillars of your support system. And notice if you're relying on that support system as much as you need, or if maybe it's a good moment to reach out. Again, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just a question. Maybe you want to make a phone call. Maybe not. And just take another breath here with your gratitude. And take a moment to also thank your body for all the support it gives you, all these trillions of cells, all that DNA that just, it knows what to do to keep you breathing, to keep you moving. And gently draw some movement into your fingers and into your toes. If you're next to a wall, very, very, very gently start to come away. I like to just bend the knees and roll to one side. And just wherever you are, roll to one side in a fetal position. And gently bring yourself all the way back up to seated. Take your hands into prayer in front of the heart. And just gently bow, honoring your body, your light, your practice in this earth. And thank you all so much for being here this evening. I'm just going to stop the recording now.